All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, September the 27th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, it's none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. How are you, Mr. Samurai?
Eating.
No shit.
So I'm hungry.
All right. What are you eating?
Homemade corned beef hash. Carrie boiled the corned beef for me last night and some potatoes. Cooked that up with some, diced that all up, put it in some onions. Got it nice and crispy the way corned beef hash should be. I mean,
that's pretty good. Why are you eating corned beef hash?
It's National Corned Beef Hash Day, John.
Happy National Corned Beef Hash Day. Anytime
I'll be with you in a minute.
Yeah, you enjoy that. I'll tell a quick little story, and it's not corned beef hash; it's corned beef. Right? Years ago, there was this lunch truck. Back in the day, you called it a roach coach, right? But lunch truck, right? I was outside of nearby a place that I visited work-wise, and I'd pick up, a soup or a burger or a sandwich or something. But anytime he did corned beef, he spelt it CORN space beef. So it was corned beef, not corned beef. So, and nobody ever told him. It just went on and on and on. That was it. That was is what it is. But I just thought it was funny. All right, story got you through eating your corned beef.
No, I still got some more. I just need something to wash it down with.
So what do you think you're going to wash it down with?
That'll go with it.
Oh, very nice lager.
I think that'll go with it.
I think so.
So I got poured in the appropriate glassware.
Very nice glass. I appreciate that. Very, very cool.
So I had two of these. I broke one.
You had two and broke one. That sucks. Well, I'll have to get you some more.
Yeah, but
you'll have to appropriate another one or two or five.
Inappropriate.
There you go.
I straight up stole the fucking thing from Clover. No, they were giving them away.
They were giving them away. They're giving them away. Chuck Aaron said beer. So.
Wow.
Beer.
That man is one of the wisest human beings I've met. He is so eloquent.
You know what?
So well spoken.
Seriously.
I don't know why more colleges don't ask him to do their commencement speeches.
And this is not sarcasm. That's absolutely true.
It's actually
what he said.
It really is true. But it seems like we're making fun because he just came out with one word. But
right?
He actually is quite eloquent.
The word is very profound, though. I mean, when you come right down to it,
it is one of the most profound. I see a trend.
All right. Doug Smith said beer. There you go. And of course, he's got the Patriots.
Doug is a man of few words.
Doug is a man of few words.
No, that's actually kind of a lie.
No, it's not. Not even close. All right. Anyway, so how are you today, Mr. Samurai?
Like I said, work's crazy. I'm starving. Need a beer. Probably need a shot at some point. That's
always an interesting and good thing.
I'm happy. I'm happy it's Tuesday night, and
I'm happy it's Tuesday night as well. And it's not only National Corned Beef Hash Day today.
What is it, John?
It's also National Chocolate Milk Day.
Oh, I don't have any chocolate milk. Well, we were talking about chocolate milk with Alacron before. We were. I just gave away who the guess is. You might as well just pull them in.
This is probably true.
Yeah.
Well, unless anybody doesn't know who Alacron is.
Well, that'd be Tony Drewry. We got to bring him in.
Exactly. We should bring him in at this point. Well, I just wanted to say one thing. I thought you were going to actually pull out a chocolate milk and wash down your corned beef hash with chocolate milk.
No, that's kind of
which would have been kind of disgusting, but
that doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
No, this works a hell of a lot better.
Absolutely, I agree. All right. Well, on that note, let's bring our guest on for this evening. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Antonio Alacron, Tony Drewry. Cheers, Tony.
How are you?
Hey, happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We didn't mention that even yet. We were waiting for you to come on. Just want to put this up there. Tony Drewry, Beeritual Advisor, and he's also El Capitan at Terlingua Adventure Beer Company in Terlingua, Texas. There you go. We're going to talk more about all of that.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, but it is indeed our second anniversary. So
tomorrow is, right?
Well, tomorrow. Well, it's our second anniversary show.
Yes.
Right. Tomorrow is indeed our second anniversary. And for that, there's a couple things going on tomorrow.
Well, of course, tomorrow is National Drink Beer Day.
So we're saying it a day ahead, but happy National Drink Beer Day. Eve.
Yes, National Drink Beer Day, Eve. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I keep a calendar of all these special events commemorations, all the stupid stuff and wonderful stuff that's out there. So that's why we do this, is because I started mentioning this on the show. It just became part of the way we introduced the show.
This is true.
So for September of next year, there will be a new entry onto the calendar, because each day has 6 entries. Some of them are actually serious entries, commemorative days, but most of them are goofy. And then next year on the 28th, there will be a serious, deep, and goofy one.
Sure, absolutely. And it's not 3 different ones. It's a serious, deep, and goofy one. Right.
One. And we are proclaiming September 28th,
which is the actual day of our first show 2 years ago tomorrow.
We are proclaiming that henceforth as International Locker Room Guys Day.
So happy International Locker Room Guys Day Eve, if you will.
Yes. So,
and why is it International and not National Locker Room Guys Day, Dave?
Because I went live from Germany and I did a show and I was in Italy when we did our Italy show.
Yeah, and we've had guests from Italy on.
Mm-hmm.
We've had people messaging in from Italy,
and
we've also on occasion had John Lord, who messages in from
England,
the UK, from England. Yep.
And we will also sometime next year I will probably be going live from another sovereign nation.
Another sovereign nation.
Yes. I'm like 12 miles from Mexico right now.
And Tony is 12 miles from Mexico. In fact, you actually wrote in last year, and I want to put this up really quick.
Yes.
For our 1-year anniversary show last year. I'm going to just throw this back up there. I dug it up. Okay. So we had a few people write in for our 1-year anniversary show. I didn't want to bother anybody for writing in this year, because we did have a bunch of people on two weeks ago for our 100th show. Tony was one of them, right?
And today is apparently our 102nd show.
And today's our 102nd show, right? Exactly. So
did you look at the comments?
Yeah, well, happy 102nd episode.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.
But who's keeping track?
But who's keeping track? Well, it's on every show. So in any event, Tony did write in last year for our 1-year anniversary. He wrote in, coming to you from a land of many, many lagers, beautiful Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico.
It's not Chihuahua?
Chihuahua.
Lagers. Felicidades is not a word. It's Felicidades.
There you go. So I just copied and pasted what you wrote. So anyway, to Jersey Johnny.
So you need to put parentheses in there, SIC.
There you go.
Yes.
To Jersey Johnny and the Beer Samurai on the first great year of Lager Room, which was last year. When he was on the show, he had much fun talking about beer. Hadn't had that much fun in a long time talking about beer, and learn a little something each time he tunes in. Thank you for putting it out there for all of us. And here's to many, many more. Thank you very much, Tony. But my point is, he wrote this in from Juarez, Mexico. So there you go. So again, another international.
Yes.
There you go.
And I'm thinking next year at some point sneaking over across the border into Canada, and that'll be another international show. Would be lovely to do a show from, let's see, one of Johnny's favorite breweries.
Yeah, you're not going there without me, though.
I've already been there without you, so.
No, I know you're not going there again on the show without me. How's that?
Hell, I am.
No, on the show.
Oh, on the show.
On the show.
Oh, I'll go straight.
You can go there all you want. I don't care. I'm saying on the show. Anyway, I'm going to pour my first beer because I'm a little thirsty, boys. So
I started working on mine already.
You got it. What are you drinking?
What are you drinking there?
I had to get this one out of the way. I'm really this thing.
What do we got there? Ocho, Punto, Cinco, Mal. Say that again. Last one, Mal liquor.
Malt liquor.
It is a malt liquor from Four Corners Brewing Company in Dallas.
Oof.
In a 19.2. What's your
19.2?
8.5.
In a 8.5 and a 19.2. Gotta love it.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun show.
It's gonna be a fun show. Well, I got 4 beers next to me here.
Especially by the time we get to our top threes.
No, I'm already halfway through this thing. I could definitely feel it taking hold.
Dave obviously is drinking Awkward Tan Lines. I cracked a little Sandcastles.
I got to find more of those. You've got to get some of that to Tony.
We got to get some of it to Tony. We do.
Yeah, you guys should mail me some beer. I mean, every beer out here is rare. except for Lone Star, apparently.
So cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Okay. And Dave's drinking out of the same glass. So
I got my fancy new glass too.
Oh, so 2 guys, 1 glass.
don't even go there. Just stop what you're thinking. Just leave it alone.
Sorry, Tony, you were saying?
Oh, no, I got a new glass. I'm
drinking out of glass. What do you got there?
It's a very new glass. Yes. You want to start it with that? Why don't you tell us about the Tall City Invitational Beer Festival?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever heard of Midland, Texas, but
sure.
Yeah.
That's
I'm a college football fan. I've heard of Midland.
That's about all there is to say about Midland. That there is one.
Yeah.
You know, but oil patch. But they're don't tell those guys I said that. They're probably listening. I tagged them in the post. But I don't know. If you're not from Midland, you don't love Midland. And but there's a couple of good breweries there now in Midland, and they actually put together the very first West Texas beer festival put on by a brewery. So they had breweries from all over West Texas, all over Texas come out, and man, it was a really well-run event. They had a VIP section for the vendors. So I was there with the Brick Vault Brewery out of Marathon, and all the breweries could go hang out in the walk-in. They had tables set up with snacks and beers and drinks and all kinds of things. It was a great show, man. Good time.
And you were there with the Brick Vault Brewing?
Yeah, Brick Vault Brewing is
this being Brick Vault?
That's the Brick Vault. That's the assistant brewer Nikki there.
There you go.
And the head brewer Amy is one of the other photos I sent you.
Oh, one of the beers' name is Terlingua, huh?
Well, at Tall City, yes.
Trying to find the other picture.
No, at Brick Vault behind above her head, it says Terlingua.
Oh yeah, they've got a Terlingua Sunrise there too. Yes.
There you go.
There you go. So we'll go through the pictures in a short time. You can hit that back up. But anyway, go ahead. Brick Vault
is probably the most remote and tiniest brewery in Texas. They brew on a 1-barrel system commercially.
Really?
Yeah. They're about to upgrade to a 3-barrel, but they're further away from any other brewery. They're way out in the middle of nowhere. They're really the only brewery in far west Texas until you get to El Paso.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. So 1-barrel. We've actually had a 1-barrel brewery on the show before. Last summer, Dave, we had Oyster Creek.
Yep.
Chris Lewis. It was on from Oyster Creek, and that's in Waretown, New Jersey.
Do you really get oysters out of that creek?
No, not at all. There's actually a nuclear power plant on.
Yeah,
Oyster Creek.
You probably could get oysters out of them at one point. If you do pull oysters out of it, they're more than likely to pull you back in.
That's fair.
Because they probably have arms and legs at this point and a couple of eyes.
You know, there's a river that runs through San Angelo, Texas, that has an oyster that lives in there that makes a special kind of pearl that you can only get right there.
Wow.
Really?
A concho pearl on the Concho River. Yeah.
Concho pearl. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I used to be in the pearl business.
I've never heard of a concho pearl? They're pretty rare.
I've not heard of that one. No.
Yeah. You used to be in the pearl business?
You used to be in the pearl business. Yep.
Okay. Used to be in the pearl business. Yeah. He used to.
I actually have a degree in pearls.
I don't even know what to say about that.
I don't either. I'm just. Okay.
I don't even know the thing.
I got a diploma in pearls. It's
diploma in pearls.
I've got a degree in plumbing and wilderness first aid.
So are you?
And fixing broken down beer buses.
So many things I could say, but I'm not going to say them. So just leave it alone.
We'll save it for the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
My first beer went down way too damn fast. I need.
It's a good beer. It goes down pretty.
Yeah, if you say so yourself, right?
This, this 8.5 malt liquor is remarkably drinkable.
Yeah, really.
It's really good. Do you know that?
Does it drink like an 8.5?
Have you ever read the true history of malt liquor?
No, go for it.
And it's actually pretty. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing.
It's abridge it, whatever. Yeah.
But it's one of the truly uniquely American beer styles.
Yeah,
and it was
for sure.
I mean, but no, that laugh you have, like you have a certain connotation when I say malt liquor.
No,
automatically think a thing, but without thinking about the big picture of it, malt liquor is one of the most misunderstood styles of beer.
And there's a reason for it because it does have a stigma to it because they were.
Oh, right. And you know who created it?
Well, I hear malt liquor. The first thing, not the only thing, mind you, but the first thing that comes to my mind is Billy D. Williams drinking Colt 45. Yeah. Right.
However, is it all beer kind of malt liquor?
Well,
Unless it's wheat beer.
Right.
It's important in the fabric of Texas beer because malt liquor was actually one of the designations that they had that you had to put on a can. If you made like up to a certain point, if you made a beer that was below 5%, it had to say beer on the label. If you made a beer that was between 5 and 8%, it had to say ale, even if it was a lager. And if it was above 8%, it had to say malt liquor, even though it was not a malt liquor.
Just a bureaucratic system of ways to.
Well, that was like a very old, like when they created the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Code after Prohibition, that was what was on the books up until somebody finally challenged it because they said it was stupid to put the word ale on a lager. Yeah. And that was why, in fact, that a lot of breweries outside of Texas didn't distribute into Texas because they didn't want to have to make a whole nother label to satisfy the Texans. Some of them did. But some of them just wouldn't put the word ale on a lager that was above 5%.
There was
I respect that.
There was a stout, a cream stout, and I forget who made it, but Texas wouldn't allow them to call it a stout. So it was packaged in Texas as cream stealth.
When was that?
And this is going way back.
Yeah,
this is back when Dave first started drinking back in the 30s.
Stealth cream. No, that's Vagabond. That's not the right one.
That's
I'm gonna have to find that one. It was like either like Sam. I think it was a Sam Adams, as a matter of fact.
Well, was it the? They made a cream.
Yeah, Sam Adams cream stout. And when it went into Texas, they had to call it cream stealth.
Did you know that high gravity is the only thing that you can put on a beer label that alludes to it sounds like it might mean it has more alcohol. You say high gravity, but the only reason you're legally allowed to do so is because it's actually a technical brewing term.
Okay.
Really
interesting.
You can't say like a beer will get you drunk. I mean, on a label, there's a lot of restrictions.
Sure.
But you could say high gravity, and that has a good, has a connotation, whether you know what that means or not. It sounds like it'll get you drunk.
And it's oddly also a great bar in Knoxville.
High gravity.
High gravity.
Oh yeah.
I got one for you. Talking about label restrictions. Let's just really quick. New England IPA, right? On a label, federally, on a label, you cannot. And these are labels that need federal approval because you're going to distribute them, right? If you're just labeling something and you're selling
across state lines.
Yeah. No. Even in your own state, if you're putting a barcode on it and distributing it outside of a brewery, right? It needs to pass these. It needs to pass the federal approval, right? System. Right. It's the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, the TTB, right? So anyway, but the whatchamacallit. So you can't say New England IPA. You have to say New England style IPA, because unless you are brewing it in New England, then
you guys have a denomination of origin. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, because it's not if you brew it, like say in New Jersey, right? You're brewing a New England IPA. You have to say New England style IPA on the label because New Jersey's not in New England.
Is that why Augie calls some of his beer Jersey IPAs?
New Jersey or East Coast. East Coast IPA, because New Jersey's on the East Coast, so you can get away with that, all right? Or New Jersey IPA. Anyway, but the funny thing is, I'm going somewhere with this. Vienna lagers, okay?
Right.
The TTB wants you to say Vienna style lager because the beer isn't brewed in Vienna. It's not a Vienna lager because it's from Vienna. It's a Vienna lager because it uses Vienna malt. More stupid shit from after Prohibition that just continued on and on and on. Yeah.
Somebody actually made a rule about that, you know?
Well, see, I'm actually drinking a German style Pilsner.
Look at that. German style Pilsner. Well, you can't put German Pilsner because it was not brewed in Germany.
Right. It was not brewed in Germany.
Now, this is a German word. Guess what it translates to, John?
I'm going to say that it translates to whip.
Very good.
All right.
Wow. You already told him that.
No. This is what this brewery does anytime they make a...
Can you pronounce that word?
Pieczke.
That does not sound right.
I think it's Pieczke. Peach.
Well, I mean, the way you finished it, it was definitely Italian in there, but
Yeah, you got to finish it with the vowel, right?
Yeah.
But no,
there's no E. It's just pitch.
That's just peachy. It's peachy.
It's peachy.
I'm gonna go with peachy.
There you go.
No, they've got a beer that they like to make called Whip.
It's an American Pilsner.
And anytime they do a variant on it, that is
from another country, an
or
Italian Pilsner,
of another
Pilsner,
country. Then all they do is translate the word "whip" into that language.
And
that's good.
That's the name of
I like
it.
that.
It's a pretty beer.
It is. It's very pretty beer. Nice and clean.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's yummy beer too.
Very nice. Very nice. So, Tony, go back to the Tall City Invitational beer festival.
So
was it just a Texas breweries only?
There were a couple New Mexico breweries, but when you consider far west Texas, New Mexico is close enough.
Fair enough.
We're all we're all out here. We're not wait. What do they say? We're all out here because we're not all there.
We're all out here because we're not all there. I like that.
Anyway,
well, the reason I ask is because is this gonna be an annual thing that they do now?
I think so, and I've done a lot of beer festivals, a lot, and this was the first time Amy, the head brewer at Brick Vault, had gotten to take any of the beer she's made as the brewer to a beer festival. So she was a little nervous, and I'm like, come on, you've never been to a beer fest like this. It's gonna be okay.
Nice.
And, but I was really impressed with the level of hospitality, and they had their shit together, and it was a really good fest. There was a couple of old timers I knew from the business, the guy Todd Ewing from Odell. I mean, that guy's been in the business as long as anybody. He's been the Texas Odell rep, and so Odell was there. But outside of that, it was Texas, New Mexico.
Sure.
Had a gang from Jester King there, and
nice.
There were a lot more breweries in far west Texas than I had, I imagined. So I was really impressed with all the beer I drank and the crowd that showed up. There's a lot of people really into it. I didn't think they had it in them.
Well, I was thinking at some point in the future, and they expand on it a little bit more and more. Might they invite, it's an invitational, right? Might they invite a brewery from, I don't know, like say New Jersey?
Yeah, I think
Wall Township, New Jersey,
somewhere in there.
I know a guy out there, so
you could probably get him.
No, that'd be cool. Like I've actually throughout the years, I've gone to some fests in San Francisco, and Nebraska Brewing used to put one on.
Sure.
And I took some Austin Beer Works up there to Nebraska, and rep them up there, and they're never going to sell in Nebraska.
Right.
But I like doing that. Gives you guys you guys come out and have a little West Texas fun. I won't make you stay in Midland though. It's too expensive. Man, you're right in the middle of the oil patch. You can't get a hotel in that town for less than $450.
Really?
I mean, even the cheap ones. That's the shitty.
That's like the red carpet motel is like $450 a night. Right. Lovely.
They go up from there. So.
Lovely. So like a Hilton's like what, $1,200 an hour?
Yeah. That town's got a spaceport, like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Spaceport. Is that where they're?
I think
Space
it's where
Force is based
on the shuttle in and out a couple times on the plane, and
Midland, Texas. Yeah,
there's a sign when you're driving down the highway, the interstate. It says Midland Air and Spaceport. It's just kind of funny to me every time.
Spaceport. Yeah. Well, never mind. That's fine.
It's a good place to wear your space pads.
Hey, they landed a spacecraft on an asteroid yesterday to bump it.
They crashed. No, they crashed into the thing.
Yeah, they crashed into it.
I was watching that. That was amazing. The thing.
I watched it too, man. That was and last night on the same night after watching that thing crash into the asteroid, Jupiter was closer than it's been in 80 years and won't be this close again for another 100 and something years.
Yeah. Now my question.
They're shooting photos of the planets last night. So
my question was on that satellite that they crashed into the asteroid. Was Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck involved in that at all?
They were not.
No.
They were not.
No, I'm pretty sure it was one of them that wrote it.
Just driving right in it.
Wild to watch.
It was really cool because as I was approaching it, to me, it kind of looked a little bit like a prickly pear.
Yeah.
And then they got really.
I love what you just said, like a prickly pear.
It was the other one that looked like the avocado, then a potato. But it was a prickly pear, and then when it got really close, it looked like a Ferrero Rocher.
My favorite part about that, but as it got really really close, was the commentary from the people working on the project, and they were like, they were so excited that they could see the detail on the rocks on this thing. Like they were just like, "Whoa, wow, there it is!" Like, I mean, it was
it was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
A lot of. You got to think about it. This thing is like millions and millions of miles away. We shot something at it, and we taught the thing to guide itself into the asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it was programmed. Yeah, it took over,
and they knew what time it was going to be.
Right. Well, it's like that meme, and I agree with it 100%. It's like NASA can communicate with a satellite 450 billion light years away, but I lose my Wi-Fi in my living room.
Right.
Well, that's why I'm laughing too. Like, dude, I'm watching it live.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely a delay.
Oh yeah, it happened like a week ago.
No. There's actually no. They said the delay was 38 seconds.
Is that what it was?
38-second delay.
That's pretty damn good.
That was the data. The data stream was 38 seconds live. The video stream was about 40-something seconds behind.
That's still amazing. I mean, think about
amazing.
That.
It's absolutely.
Right.
You think about sound like you sit on the other side of a stadium from somewhere. Like somebody bangs a drum on the other side of a stadium. It takes a second for it to get to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was 36, 38, 39 seconds from how far away? 150,000 miles away or something like that?
Oh, I think we're talking millions of miles.
Oh, millions of miles away.
When it hit the satellite, when the satellite hit the asteroid, it was going 4 miles a second.
14,000 miles per hour, I think.
Yeah. Which is insane.
14,000 miles an hour when it hit.
And it honed in on it and slammed right into it.
Doesn't sound that fast though for space, you know.
All right. But the thing is, if it worked,
so it didn't quite get to warp speed at that point.
No, not quite the warp speed. They didn't engage in the nacelles or anything.
It was actually ludicrous speed, actually.
Yeah, Spaceballs reference, nice. But the thing is, what's interesting is if they can verify that they changed this thing's orbit and trajectory, it'll be the first time humans have ever changed the trajectory of a celestial object.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And we've never even tried before, so first time.
Success. They succeeded the first time.
That's pretty damn good.
And this is the first time the NASA's actually crashed on purpose.
How much did they say how much that thing cost?
Oh, I'm sure they're never going to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
You spent how much to slam into an asteroid?
How much did we spend?
Hey, how much do you think the military spends blowing shit up? All the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wish they'd let me blow some shit up. I like blowing shit up.
Come out to the desert, man. We'll blow some shit up.
There you go.
And not just the toilet and the Chili's.
No, not that. I'm not doing that with you.
Anyway,
there's a game involved there, but I don't even want to mention it. Anyway,
so what else have you been up to, Alacron?
Let's talk about the Terlingua Adventure Beer Company. Talk about that.
There we go.
What's going on with that? Let's put the we get the logo right here. Let's.
You said that. It's like what's going on? Is this like a tour thing? Is it a club? Is it a brewery? What are you doing?
It just is. It just is. It's been
just is.
Okay, so this is just basically sitting and drinking with Tony.
It started out as a joke a long time ago, and the joke has kept going. But we have been, effective. We're just not a business, I mean, you come out here, there's adventure and beer, and we'll take you along your way. And there's a lot that goes into it, but it's nothing that's advertised. It almost became a bar once. A guy has a building out here, and he knew I had an idea, and he needed somebody with an idea, and he turned out to be really hard to work with. And so it never became a thing. But now somebody else is opening up a bar in that building, and but anyway, I put that up there because I'm about to start doing Jeep tours again.
There you go.
A buddy of mine has had a Jeep rental business out here, and he just got all the insurance and permits necessary to start doing tours through the park and around Terlingua. So if you know anybody that's coming this way and you want to learn some fun, interesting knowledge about this area and drink some good beer when we're done, I'm your guy. Shameless plug.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
Terlingua Adventure Beer Company exists, but it's not in a physical building or space. But it does have a Google listing that says it's permanently closed.
It does. Why is that? Google got to it.
I got the Google listing because we actually almost opened it up in a bar, and then when things didn't work out, like I just moved the pin to my house, and people would come by, once a week, and they would be like, "Is this a brewery? Is this a bar?
Oh, wait a second.
Beer?" And I only had one set of folks that didn't stay for a beer, and they were actually on their way to a hike. They were just doing some recon, and they came back later. So practically everybody that's come through there for this Google listing of this place is permanently closed. And they still call the phone number sometimes, because a lot of stuff out here is, it looks like it's open, but it's not, or it doesn't look like it's open at all, but it totally is. So it's kind of a virtual speakeasy that happens wherever you go.
That's great.
So wherever we go.
Speaking of Google, I hear there's a rumor that you don't actually exist.
That's on Reddit.
Oh, that was on Reddit. I thought you said
You know
if you
why I looked
Google.
that up? I Googled that because I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys. Back in March, I started getting. I have a PO box out. It's PO Box 25. Can you imagine that?
25.
PO Box 25.
Out of 32.
PO Box 25, and I never get any mail, and I joke about that sometimes. Well, in March, I started getting letters in the mail, and but I don't mean letters. I mean like literally letters of the alphabet. No, and the first one didn't seem like that big a deal. It was just the letter E from Shreveport, Louisiana. No return address. It was on an index card. It was on a Post-it note. It was on an index card, and it was all perfectly drawn out. And I'm like, okay. So I called Emily in Shreveport, and my friend Emily, she doesn't know anything about it. She like, I don't know what you're talking about. A couple of days later, I get another letter, and it came from London. And then a couple of days after that, I get another letter, and it's a wooden one from Hobby Lobby, but it's priority mailed from Hawaii. And then for the next couple of weeks, just from all around the world, all over the U.S. and all across the fucking planet, people were sending me letters of the alphabet. Didn't seem to make any sense until I got enough to almost spell the word shit dang.
Wait a second. Shit dang is not. There's no E in shit dang. You said the first letter was an E.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's other. I mean, I've got.
No, he didn't. I don't. What you're saying is they weren't sending you the word shit dang. You just got enough to spell the word.
But the shit dang could not have been a coincidence. Like, I mean, because there was no. I still to this day, I have no idea who orchestrated this, and it's still going on. I got one today. I got the first one in 4 months today in my PO box. I got another.
What letter was it?
The letter C from Greece.
Letter C from Greece.
So I've got.
Oh no, Kaniki begins with a K.
Kaniki begins with a K.
Yeah.
18 letters now, and I don't know if it's a cipher. Is it a do you have to unscramble them? Is it one word? Is it multiple words? I've got my daughter and her friends in on this. I've got other people. Like, there's a lot of people follow this thing.
Right.
It's fucking nuts, man. One of the letters came. I opened it up in my truck. I was so excited. Then another letter came, and I was sitting in the seat of my truck, and I went to slice it open, and I almost pulled this card out, and it was the letter A, but that didn't matter because the whole fucking thing was full of glitter. I almost unleashed that in my truck. I'm like, holy shit.
That would have been great. That would have been really quick. Al Gattulo says happy 102, boys.
102.
Cheers.
Woo!
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it.
Hey, I'm getting another beer.
You do that. 102 in 2 years.
102 in 2 years, yes. And it would have been 104, but we did take our 2 vacation weeks.
Yes,
year,
we did. But been 2 years, and there we go. Marble Brewing.
Marble Brewing Fog.
Desert Fog.
Desert Fog.
Easy.
Desert Fog.
Do you guys know Marble Brewery?
I have not.
They won Brewery of the Year a couple times. They won some real good, nice medals for the beers they make. They're one of the best breweries, and if not, top 2 or 3 in New Mexico, in my opinion.
Very nice.
New Mexico.
New Mexican brewery.
They're out of Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, did you take a left turn to get there?
I did take a left turn because I came from the east and went north, and then took a left turn.
You took a left, went up, then left.
So he listened to.
I think Bugs was like a little further north, coming down.
Just a little further north.
The back east.
Actually, no, he was in the south, wasn't he, at the time? Because they wound up, and there was like an antebellum mansion behind them when they popped out of the rabbit hole.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were down south. I'm not sure where, but they were down south. Yeah.
They were down south somewhere.
Or, Dave, you know how to spell Albuquerque on the fly?
Albuquerque.
He has it written above his head there. No, I'm kidding.
No. See, there's a joke about Albuquerque. So my daughter, before she was speaking, we were out in Arizona. I was trying.
That was correct, by the way.
I know it. But
not you. I was letting everybody else see. No, yeah.
I was trying to get her first word to be Albuquerque.
Of course.
So she never really got Albuquerque.
Not dad or mom.
No,
Albuquerque.
her first word actually was daddy. But she could never say the word hospital like most young children. She'd say hospital, right?
Sure.
However, thanks to her two older brothers, she could say zombie apocalypse perfectly. So what I did to try to teach her how to say these things was I taught her that because the two of them terrorized her, had her terrified of zombies. So to keep her less terrified, I told her that the dog was a zombie killing dog, and that also the zombie apocalypse was going to happen far, far away at the hospital in Albuquerque. Mm-hmm. So after that, she could say hospital and Albuquerque properly. Now, one of these days, I want to go to Albuquerque, pay someone to dress up as
a zombie.
A couple people to dress up as zombies, take a picture in front of the hospital with them coming at me in the background and send it to her just to see how deep the trauma was.
All right, that's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Hey, most people in Albuquerque, they call it burke.
Quirky.
It's very quirky.
Most of them are zombies anyway, aren't they?
It's a word that's like burque. Burke.
Berkey.
Burke.
Yeah.
Not Berkey.
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 Not Berkey.
Okay. And what is
hang around there? Like nobody from Albuquerque calls it. They don't take their time to waste their time to say the whole word.
Berkey.
Well, it's like nobody in New Jersey calls it New Jersey. We all just call it Jersey.
So it's actually like to drink this beer, to be able to buy this beer in Terlingua, and it's actually pretty fresh too. Like I checked the date on everything I buy out here because this is where the beer to die, y'all.
Beer's gonna die, yeah, right.
I'm on here sometimes, but I don't think you guys realize like how far out I am. We are literally.
Oh, you're far out, Tony. You are far out.
Oh yeah.
I'm here because I'm not all there.
Far out. Yeah, exactly. Well, Albuquerque, it's like, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish.
No, I'm just saying, like we're like nobody's on their way to anything when they come to deliver stuff here. They hate coming down here because they drive down here and they have to drive all the way right back after they drop. So like we're lucky to get a lot of fresh Sierra Nevada, but and then we get a couple of beers from around Texas, Four Corners, and a handful of other ones. I can't. It's spot. Oh, and the Tall City guys hand deliver out here, but. To get Marble like this, this is one of my favorite breweries anywhere across the Southwest, and they just started selling out in West Texas. Get to hang out with my buddy Puga when he came through to drop a bunch of this off and get a few more places. So I'm really excited. Drinking Desert Fog out in the desert.
Nice. I was going to say about Albuquerque, Weird Al Yankovic obviously does a lot of parody songs, right? Just songs, changes the words, whatever, but. He actually, I believe it was his Running with Scissors album. I believe it was the album back in the year, like 2001, something like that. Anyway, maybe a little earlier. Anyway, he did a song called Albuquerque, and it was an original song. It was just a stupid song. I mean, more stupid than his parodies. All right. It was just that bad, but not bad, but that's
beautifully bad.
Beautifully bad.
Writing a song lyrically that's like about the flow of a word like Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, right?
So a couple of songwriters I like, or just do things because they like the way the words sound.
Right. So at the end of the song, the song is like 12 minutes long, right? And at the end of the song, there's a vamp, right? And he starts spelling out the word. He goes A B B. I'm sorry, A L B B U.
Q.
Kirky.
Stop right there.
Right.
That's the hard part.
Kirky.
So, yeah, right. But anyway,
we spent an inordinate amount of time on Albuquerque, have we not?
A lot of time in Albuquerque. I'm gonna actually open my second beer, which I actually been trying to throughout the Albuquerque conversation to open. I'm actually gonna have a Twin Lights house party. New England IPA.
Twin Lights has not been open that long. They've been brewing for a while.
They've been brewing for a while.
Yes, and Tony's raising the roof down there for their house.
I wish I had my LED. I got some new LEDs in, but I don't have the controllers on them yet. But like, I wish I could have just told it to turn it on.
Colors and
right.
Well, I'm going to move to my third beer because these are going down way too easy.
It always does, man.
I feel like
and you know what? And Tony's really close. He's not that far from Tijuana.
No. Well, yeah, actually is.
Yeah, he actually is.
Actually, I'm closer to. Well, once you get to El Paso, you're closer to LA than you are to Houston.
To Houston. Oh yeah, sure. So so this is Will was up by Will when they opened up Twin Lights in Jug Handle's old space over in Tinton Falls, but
need to get there. And like we've said, if you are making the pilgrimage to Kane, which people who come to Jersey for beer tend to do,
sure.
If you're coming in off the Parkway, you're driving right past.
You're going to ride right past Twin Lights and Jug Handle for that matter. So
Jug Handle's like one highway down.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you can do both from the same exit if you want.
Absolutely,
either or, really. But anyway, so cheers on that one. I poured it in a mechanical glass.
Cheers. See what I'm drinking?
You're drinking boat
beer.
There you go.
I drink that boat beer
a lot lately. The river's been way up.
Yeah.
I think the last time we talked, the river was way. It was not actually dried up, and the Rio Grande went dry in May. But we got a lot of good rain out here in the rainy season. That's flowing.
So, because John knows I've got to check these in on Untappd. I'm working to get my my crown back. I used to be the number one drinker of this, and when I wasn't paying attention, someone snuck up and
stole it from you. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so far behind on that. Man.
I'm only 24 behind him, and
you can make that up in no time.
Yeah, I mean that's just 2 cases of beer.
No.
At 4.3%, I can do that in like 4 nights.
See, I had a conversation with Dave. So he wants to gain his number one status back for Carton Boat, right? But I told him he has to going forward. He has to be the number one checker in of building sandcastles.
Yeah, I need to go in. I got to find more of those. I got to find more.
So. I was the number one Hans Pils guy for a while.
Yeah.
I just kind of gave it up. It was like, well, I mean, I wasn't. I got busy and was doing different things for work, and I wasn't using Untappd as much. Mm-hmm. And then I got to where Hans is like the only beer I would check in, but I kept it legit. I only checked it in when I was actually drinking it, but I drank it a lot.
Same here. And actually, what I would do is it doesn't matter the size of the vessel. If I was drinking out of a 3-liter boot, that was one.
Oh, yeah.
It was one.
If you poured 4 cans into a 3-liter boot,
it was one.
Checked into one beer.
And I don't drink them out of tasters. The smallest thing I drink it out of is a 12-ounce, 16-ounce pint glass or the 60-ounce can glass.
There you go.
It's even more than legit. I could probably check in more than I've checked in, but
fair enough.
We got to grab it back.
Yeah, you do. Matt actually checks in. Matt doesn't check into a beer more than once, and he's well over 8,000, but he literally has just 1 check-in per beer. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Nuts. I know. So.
Hey, wait a second. I got the National Drink Beer Day badge.
Look at that, but that's tomorrow. Though.
It's tomorrow. Well, they extended on either side. Just
in case.
Well, right. It's like their big day, right?
Right.
Big day.
It's a big day.
Hey,
how many different national beer-related days are there?
Let's see. I'm going to say.
I want to know that number.
I'm going to say 365. That's what I'm going to say.
All of us. Tony, I will get you that number because I actually have a spreadsheet database of all the days, and I can probably go through and probably find them all. But because there's National Beer Day, International Beer Day, Drink Beer Day, Beer Drinkers Day, Beer Lovers Day. There's Sour Beer Day. There's IPA Day, Session Beer Day.
Mm-hmm. Are these all national days, or these days that just beer guys made up?
Yes.
A lot. Yes.
That's your answer. Yes.
But what do you have to do to get your shit on the official calendar?
By the way, we weren't kidding about International Lager Room Guys Day. All you have to do is state
it. Someone put it perfectly that these days are pretty much like a game of telephone. Mm-hmm. You state it, you keep stating it, other people will pick it up, and it'll become a thing. So if I keep putting this out there, eventually other websites will pick up the fact that it is International Lager Room Guys Day, and they'll love it because John, you need to put it on our website.
I'll put it up tomorrow. I'm putting up tomorrow. Yeah.
That way they have got a source for it.
Right.
And
if they got on the Google Calendar and share that shit with me.
Yeah. There's many ways to get that out there and get it socialized, as we say in the business world. I hate that, but anyway, it's the only thing I can think of right now. But there are a lot of beer days out there. Some of them are created by breweries themselves. Some of them are just beer drinkers doing something. Swansea Day is a big thing, right? You've heard of Swansea Day.
Mm-hmm.
That's which brewery in Belgium started that one?
Cantillon.
Oh, that's right. Cantillon started that one, so that's a big one. There's one of the German breweries started one as well, and of course, there's always Oktoberfest, which was.
Well, I mean that dates back forever, right?
Well, it was a wedding. It was a wedding celebration.
It was a wedding.
Back then.
Yeah.
Well, at Terlingua Adventure Beer Company, we do celebrate one day, and it's National License Bumper Day. And that probably doesn't make any sense, but when I take a bathroom break here in a little bit, I'll come back and explain that to you.
Yeah, you need to explain License Bumper Day, because if
Bumper Day,
if we like it, I'm gonna make sure that gets on the calendar. And
well, some people have a license plate, the TABC, and that's why it's Terlingua Adventure Beer Company. It's a play on the TABC. We're like the cool TABC.
Yeah, I got you. There you go.
We don't need no fucking license.
So that's John. That's what we got to start doing. We got to start, and we talked about this once. We never got around to it. Publishing that calendar on the website.
We got to do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Because I'm working on October, so I have to do it every month because there's certain days that move around a little bit, like the first Monday of October or the third Saturday.
Right. They're not the same date every year. They're the same day in the week every year.
You can't make a perpetual calendar out of these things. It changes, and there's some that are decided that year, like pantless subway ride. Okay, so in New York City, that's
what I want to do. I want to not wear pants on the subway.
How many official days are there on every fucking day?
So my calendar has 6, and then there's some days where I've got to figure out which ones I've got to drop off.
Because that's a lot of stuff on your calendar that's not like, what you're doing.
Yeah, so most of the stuff that's on the calendar, I like to concentrate on the beer and food related stuff. Mm-hmm. But there's also causes on there as well. Really good causes, and then there's, then just straight up silly stuff. Like September 19th is one of my favorites.
I see September 19th wheel turning back there.
Yes, I see.
It's loading. It's loading.
September 19th is International Talk Like a Pirate Day, which is, I think, I don't care if you're a landlubber.
Those guys are the best example of how somebody just took that and made it a thing.
Exactly. They created nothing, and it is now. It is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. It is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. And it doesn't matter if you're a landlubber or not, or if you're near water, people will celebrate this thing. I've been celebrating this for a very long time. My buddy and I once took his boat out. We hoisted the Jolly Roger. We were dressed like pirates. We had sabers and stuff. And we pulled up alongside of a boat, rattled our sabers, and yelled R at them. They all turned around and rattled their sabers at us and yelled R. And they were dressed like pirates.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, if we can all come together on something, I'm glad it's that.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Got another comment on here. Jesus Puga. Thanks for the plug, Tony. Cheers to the 102nd episode. Thank you.
Jesus is one of my homies from El Paso, and he's the guy that Marvel just hired to be the far West Texas rep. So
that's great.
He's probably got, no offense to anybody from New Mexico, but he's
cheers, Jesus. Cheers.
He's got the coolest.
Congratulations, Jesus.
Come hang out here, come to the Big Bend, come to Alpine, Marfa, all through. And El Paso is one of the greatest cities on earth. So,
and I love what Chuck has done.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than celebrating our 2-year anniversary show, because of his one comment, we are now celebrating our 102nd
anniversary.
Everyone's wishing us happy 102.
At least you get the 2 in one way or the other.
It's the 2's in there, right?
There's still a 2 in there.
102, right?
You can always get what you want.
Exactly.
Well, we did celebrate our 100th. We did celebrate our.
You try sometimes, you just might get what you need. So.
I thought you said you celebrate your honeymoon. You said your 100th. Okay.
100th.
100th.
Well,
he might have. I don't know. If he
honeymoon was that like the first show or the second show, or?
And I'm not going to let a Rolling Stones reference go by unrecognized. John.
Thank you. Appreciate
it. Because you can't always get what you want.
Some ancient philosopher that said that, and then Mick Jagger turned into some lyrics at a certain point.
Right, of course.
It worked, and we appreciate it.
Hey, and it still works.
You know what? But I mean, with Dave on this show, it's our 2-year anniversary. I always get satisfaction. So You know.
Oh, that's good.
Do I have to? I'm not going to wear the shirts you wear. Actually, because you didn't get me one yet.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Hey,
that was my father's favorite song, by the way.
Was it? Oh, there you go. Cheers.
I thought about this today. You know, like every time I've done the show, I've had to put a shirt on to get on the internet with you guys. I'd never wear a shirt out here because it's just like it's a great place to stay shirtless. But I figured like most of the people that are watching the show are probably beer dudes, and they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like,
no. They know John and I well enough, and some of our other friends, and there's a bunch of our other friends where people are like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Right, exactly.
So they're used to us hanging out with the "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Exactly. Okay, cool. Well, that's fine. That works.
Well, I like being the "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like,
no, it's a great guy to be. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think so. I try to keep it as mysterious as possible.
There you go. Just rolling back to what Dave said before. Cheers to Pop Cichon.
Yes, God bless his soul.
There you go.
Hey,
so, and all the motifs.
Did I ever send you the video, John? I got to send you the video.
You didn't send me the video. No.
The show we were on.
Yeah, no, you didn't. You didn't send me that video.
If you got another post in you, we lost a really an integral part of Far West Texas. A guy named Harry. Just passed away. He ran a bar called Harry's Tanaha for a long time in Alpine. He was the Alpine Welcoming Committee, and but he also owned he operated a brewery called Edelweiss. He was a German brewmaster, Harry Moyes. He passed away in the last 2 months. He was a stalwart of the origins of what is now Texas beer, and we lost him too. So drink for Harry.
Yes, drink for Harry.
To Harry.
Cheers
to Harry. Watching. Cheers, Harry.
He'd be sad I was drinking a hazy IPA, but you know.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, but I'd catch him drinking a Coors Light. So
there you go.
6-1. There you go.
All right.
Pot kettle. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Hi, Pot. This is
Tony. What else is going on out there?
Yeah.
Hey, what else have you been up to?
The river's up, so I've been. Like I haven't gone on the river. I'm a paddler from way back. I love.
I've seen images of your.
I love floating the river.
Craft.
But I have been busy shooting photos because the weather's been so nice and things are happening out here.
I can put some of them up if you want me to put them up right now.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
Not just the river, but like we had a great rainy season. That this place it looks like Ireland right now. We're out in the high
desert and it's green.
But it's green as shit, dude. I mean, there's pictures I've taken.
Tony, if you're green as shit, you need to see it. If your shit is green, please see it, doctor.
Yeah.
Green is all get out, if you will.
I'm just gonna put these up, and they're no particular order. Some of them are landscapes, some of them are people. So we'll just we'll talk to them.
Yeah, I've been shooting a lot the last couple of months
because there's that rainbow. Yes,
that's Tool Mountain right there. I can see that from my house, but that's actually from just about the entrance to the park.
Anybody listening to the audio portion of this, if you want to see these pictures, tune in. Just go over to either the YouTube channel or Facebook to this show and start watching about 53 minutes and 30 seconds. And you can see these pictures. So go ahead. Anyway, Tony, go ahead.
And I just bought a new photo printer, so I've been printing a lot of these things too.
That's a beautiful shot right there.
That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
But also, just being back on the river, it's been good. Like it took me more than half the year to get back on it, but the river finally came back up. I'd been on it a couple of times to do some shooting down there, but you can't really paddle in it. But once it came back up, I mean, it went from flowing at about, maybe 100 CFS is about typical for the summer. Mm-hmm. And think about 100 basketballs per second flowing, rolling by a place.
That's CFS cubic feet per second.
Cubic feet per second. Yep. So 100 CFS in the early part of the summer. When it started raining, it began to flow at 10,000. Oh. And at one point, in parts of it, 50,000.
Oh, wow.
CFS. And so most of the water that comes through the Rio Grande at this point does not come from the headwaters up in Colorado and northern New Mexico. That it suck all that dry before it gets to halfway down to the middle of New Mexico.
From irrigation, right?
Yeah. Well, just everything. No, we use too much water. But most of the water that flows to the Rio Grande at this point comes from a river in Mexico called the Rio Conchos that comes through Ojinaga, Presidio area, just west of us. 70% of that water comes from there. So, like, at what point do we change the name of the Rio Grande? It's the Rio,
Right.
But it's been way up, and everybody I know has a boat, and they just go on a trip every day, and people are hopping on and this and that, and like we throw as many beers as we can in a cooler and make it happen. And it's muddy as shit, but it's the river is a place where when you're on it, nothing else matters. And,
Yep.
So the question is, do you paddle upstream first and then coast back?
You have when you're putting in at that kind of level, because the river's up a little higher, so you come out and you're paddling up, so you do have to try to go a little bit upstream so you can get into the flow of the middle of the river.
Right.
So when you're really but we're in a raft, so it's we've got one person manning the oars. It's one
only one.
Only one.
One is running the boat on two. Or there's a couple photos of that, but
Well, let's put these up. Here you go.
That's Sandy. Man, that's the queen of the Rio Grande right there. That's Captain Sandy Pants.
Captain Sandy Pants. And you can see the mud of the river right there.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
But that's it hadn't rained out here in a long time, so all it just washes off all the stale topsoil and pushes it down. But like along the banks, it's always that green. But it's been raining like hell out here everywhere, and it just I've seen green stuff, but never see it. It's a beautiful time to be out here.
Here's the next picture. I'll put this up. I think that was
that's at Tall City. That's pretty much all the vendors. This is at the right before everything got cracking. This is before everybody got drunk.
So they're all sober right there.
Yeah.
There you
go. Well, there's that one dude does not look sober, but
which one?
Probably pre-gamed.
Which one?
Yes. There's you go to dead center, go 2 black shirts left, and there's that brightly shirted guy just over the shoulder of the guy lifting his glass up.
Gotcha. Yeah,
he's either a very, very happy individual or he's not.
Oh, the guy right there, that's Todd Ewing from Odell Brewing Company.
Okay. Now it makes sense. The one guy I picked out is the
there you go.
Yeah. He don't look sober there.
That's a good crew.
The other honorable mention from that brewing company, like you see the guy with the salmon shorts.
Sure.
Yeah, salmon pants.
His right hand is pointing straight up at a guy with a beard in the back there.
Yeah.
That's my good buddy Chris Troutman. He is one of the founders of the Austin Beer Guide, and they the best beer publication I have ever read in my life. And it still goes on to this day. He's one of the co-founders of that, but he sold his house in Austin and opened a cool ass brewery in Lubbock called Good Line Beer Co. And they make some of the best lagers in Texas, man. I'm really proud of these.
Oh, wow, good.
He went from being a beer writer and critic to being a brewer, and he knew he couldn't fuck up because if he made a shitty beer, everybody would tell him about it.
Sure.
And he is making some of the best beers I've had out here, man.
That's awesome. Cheers
really
to him.
Proud of that dude.
Next picture.
Lubbock. Yeah, there's Eric. Jesus. Hey, that's on my my backyard.
It's in your backyard.
Yeah, Jesus has an innie.
It's a come out here. And, hey, I should have sent you the Photoshop version of this. I cut him out and put him in front of the Prada Marfa with a UFO sucking him up.
They're gonna take him and slam him into an asteroid.
There you go. Yeah, right.
Hey, the mountains you can see in the background of that photo, that's the Chisos Mountains. Those are all in Big Bend National Park.
They're made of cheese?
The Chisos.
Chisos. I heard that.
You said cheese.
It's the only.
You heard cheese.
I heard cheese.
The only national park in the whole U.S. that has an entire mountain range contained within its boundaries, and that is the mountain range.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the only park in the U.S. that's got a whole mountain range made of cheese.
Cheese, right. Dave's getting hungry, folks.
If you guys come out to visit, please bring cheese. We can get a little bit of cheese out here, but not a lot of great cheese.
We'll bring cheese.
Cheese and beer. Okay.
Cheese.
One of my favorite Belgians, Michael. When he comes to visit, he brings like $100 worth of cheese every time.
Done. We'll do that. There we go. How's that? There you
go. Okay. I mentioned earlier about space pants.
Yeah.
Space pants.
I got the space pants, but my beer matched my pants, man.
Yeah,
and I wanted to show that without I'm not trying to make you look there. I'm trying to.
Well, you're covering it up anyway.
I'm covering it up,
Wow, you can cover it up with a 12-ounce. You're this proud.
There you go. I figured you'd pull out the 19.2 that you had before.
And my arm.
Hey.
Have you ever seen the Saturday Night Live skit with Peter Dinklage, the space pants one?
Yep.
If you've not seen that, that is absolutely hilarious.
Oh
Look, that's standing on the side of a raft trying to balance. Really hard.
That's great.
We can see the mud in the background.
Yeah.
All right, this is my
what do we
neighbor.
build?
My closest neighbor is a mile away. She lives on top of the plateau, and it takes about 15 minutes to get up there. And these rocks, actually, every one of these rocks, we set all these rocks that day. She's the baddest rock worker out here. That's her sitting down. Those rocks probably weigh 5 to 1,000 pounds a piece.
Wow.
And we rigged each one of these, and it took us all day. And this is just something, when you do like a barn raising.
Barn raising, yep.
It's a little bit different out in Terlingua.
It's rock raising. You're rock raising.
First of all, people are drinking.
I'll provide some context pictures later to show you what's going on. But if you look back in the background, you can see her house. Like that's what she's living in right now. That part of the house.
That's a really cool looking building right there.
Mm-hmm.
Those rocks have come from all over the world and from Terlingua area, and it's a lot of it's dry stuff. It's also rocked on the inside too. It's 2 layers.
Yeah, it really looks like Clint Eastwood should be in there breaking the windows out, shooting at the people that are trying to kill him.
Stacked rocks on the inside and out. And so it's actually one of the most insulated and bomb-proof and hurricane-proof buildings out here. But in every crack where the rocks didn't cover everything, she put smaller rocks. And every crack in between those, she put even smaller rocks. And it's all built. She started on the left side of this photo is the west-facing wall.
Yeah.
She built a window frame and put a single brick in there, and that's the only thing that's plumb and level in the whole deal. Built all the rocks around it.
That's great. Then we got this. We saw this before. Brick vault.
The brick vault used to be.
Oh man, that is a thunderhead and a half, ain't it?
So that's a better shot of the Chisos. That's shot from my porch.
That is amazing.
If you look in the,
I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Shit dang.
Yeah.
About probably 10 different people I know of that I know around here took some version of the same shot. We all saw this cloud and we're like, what the fuck, man?
Damn. That's spectacular.
It
looks like a Portuguese man of war, don't it?
You get these broad fields of view, man, and you can see a storm that's easily 20 miles or more from my house.
Well, that's the one thing is where John and I live, there's hills there. We've got a lot of topography where we don't really see to the horizon quite often. And I took my son out to Yellowstone earlier this year, and then just seeing storms kind of just float in, and you can see them from miles and miles and miles away. It's really spectacular. And this is a prime example of that. And that is absolutely a beautiful shot there.
Oh yeah.
People from out here are like, if you're not from around here, and especially if you're from Colorado, which I have a lot of friends from Colorado that would say, well, yeah, there's no mountains in Texas. But out here, they kind of, because there's so much the broad desert sprawls and the mountains are plentiful, but they're not everywhere. They call them, they refer to them as sky islands. Yeah. So you'll have these broad stretches of desert, and then you'll have a little mountain range in the middle of it. The Chisos is one of the most well-known ones.
There you go.
Believe it or not.
In this photo, the kind of a little to the right of center, that peak right there is Emery Peak, and that is the tallest peak in Big Bend National Park. It's in the top 20 tallest peaks in Texas. Nice. And it's just under 8,000 feet. And in Terlingua, you're sitting at just under my house is at about 2,700 feet elevation.
Okay.
I'm in the desert, but I'm not at sea level. I'm still almost 3,000 feet high. So that mountain is nearly in my field of view. It's almost 5,000 feet tall. If you're in Leadville, Colorado, looking at a 14er, it's less than it's about 4,000 feet tall. So I'm arguing that these mountains are actually taller than the Rockies in some respects.
In some respects, sure.
From where you start from, yes.
And you can tell them I fucking said it.
And a lot of people don't realize New Jersey actually does have mountains. The only problem with our mountains is they're kind of low because they're really, really old and they have been worn down through the years. So you're not going to get sharp peaks.
Is it the Poconos?
The Poconos are similar to that because they're across the Delaware in Pennsylvania. But they're in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
They're in Pennsylvania.
What's the range? Is it you've got part of the Appalachians?
Part of the
Yeah,
Appalachian, yeah. The Appalachian
Part of-
Trail comes actually through Western Jersey, actually.
Yeah, it does. And the portion that's in Jersey is called the Kittatinny Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kittatinny, yeah, the
I've had some
Kittatinny
beers
is
from a Kittatinny. There's a brewery called Kittatinny something, right?
no, there is a military weapons facility.
Okay,
in
yeah.
Kittatinny.
Maybe I got some military weapons. I don't know.
But there's
Kittatinny Bridge rings a bell though for some reason.
but Kittatinny, yeah, the Kittatinny Range, it's ancient. It's so worn down that it's really just one long ridge with every now and then a bit of a hump for a peak. So we don't have anything of too much, not a lot of high elevation in Jersey whatsoever, but there actually are mountains here.
Well, up on that Emery Peak, that's the name of the tall one. When you hike up there, like I always carry something in my backpack. If I did once ice somebody up there. Like we hiked all the way to top. I had this group of friends of mine from Austin. They're a couple of beer reps and some of them that used to all work at the Flying Saucer in Austin together.
That was Flying Saucer.
We got I told my closest, like the one that kind of booked the trip and put everything together before we hiked up there. I said, "Hey, you think it's cool if I ice somebody today?" She goes, "Yeah, Kayla." Like she didn't even have to think about it. So when we got to the top of the tallest peak out there in the Big Bend National Park, I was like, "Hey, you want a beer? Or like, would you like to drink a beer up here?" She's like, "Oh my God, yes." And I pulled it out of my backpack and put it in her hand before she even realized that I've got a great photo of her down on one knee chugging a Smirnoff Ice on top of that thing.
Smirnoff Ice.
You iced her.
And what's cool is if I had the right lens, I could take him. I could be the only guy in Terlingua taking portraits of people from my house in Terlingua on top of that thing, or going up on the top and taking photos of the back of my house. So
That's awesome.
You need a telescope with the digital receiver on it.
Let's look at a couple.
$20,000 if anybody's got put a Venmo up on the screen.
There you go.
Rather than sending him letters in the email, send him telescope.
Send me money, just
or beer.
So this is Sotol Vista. This is kind of in the one of the western parts of the park. I just sold a couple of prints of this just from posting pictures on Instagram.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. You think this is beautiful? Wait till you see the next one.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, that's up on top of the.
Well, I wasn't necessarily talking to you, but anyway.
Hey, that is a plant called lechugia, and it is a very much lesser known agave. It is an agave nonetheless. It only grows in the Chihuahuan Desert. It's one of the indicator plants of the Chihuahuan Desert. So when you see it, you know which desert you're in.
If you've just been dropped somewhere and not know where
you can also ferment that and make a spirit out of that. And they have not longer than they made tequila.
So a lot of the agave plants, they have a nickname from what I've heard called cowboy killers.
This one is called the witch's hand.
Witch's hand, I can see that. The reason they call the agave the cowboy killer is if your horse bucks you off and you fall onto one of those things,
it'll fuck you up.
You's dead.
Well, because they not only poke you, I mean, like if you fall on those sharp spines, it could like cause a lot of damage, but it also leaves a little poison tip in it, and like it will continue to irritate you if you don't take care of it.
Yeah, if you don't just die.
There you
go. That's one way to keep it from irritating. You just die.
How to put this one up?
Oh, we've seen him drinking out of it.
I like you can do that with a beer can too if you drink enough of it. You know,
that's nice. Then is this?
There's another thunderhead.
That was another one of the prints I just sold.
Nice. This one.
That is Terry's Tanaja that sits up on the plateau above our house. A mountain lion drinks there on the regular.
Nice.
Wow. Nice. And not to a lot of other things too, but definitely a mountain lion. I'm working on getting Pam to get some photos.
I was going to say, have you had a couple of beers with this mountain lion?
Not yet. I actually did hear it. Do you know they make a lot of different kinds of noises?
Mm-hmm.
I heard something, I don't know, it was about a month ago or so. I hear a lot of weird shit at night, and like I try to find out what it was. It's a chirping sound that they use to locate their young when they're walking around at night, and it doesn't sound like a bird, but it doesn't sound like anything else either. Like it was a very strange sound. And when I looked it up, I'm like, holy shit, that thing was right there.
It's crazy. A chirping sound. I thought they just sung Hakuna Matata.
Well, I mean, I say a chirping sound, but
That's an African line, not a.
Yeah, 601.
So many names.
Whatever Hakuna Matata translates into English, then it would be.
Hey, en español, Hakuna Matata is no pasa nada.
Pasa nada.
No worries, man. No worries.
No worries.
All right.
No worries. And then there's.
That's where I'm sitting right now.
That's where you are. That's where you are.
Hey, so that rug on the wall was bought by the guy that owns this place. He commissioned this piece. It's actually a Picasso painting, but it's made into a rug by a guy down in South America. Like
nice.
Before he got out of town, he met this guy and he's like, "Hey, I've got this one of my favorite Picasso paintings. Can you do this?" And the guy's like, "Yes." And before he left, this guy made him this rug and rolled it up, and he took it on a plane with him and brought it back here to Terlingua, Texas.
What's in the is that a bong in the foreground there, Tony?
That is a candlestick.
Okay.
Bong, I can go get it.
I would have said I would have said hookah. You went straight for the bong.
I could have gone with water pipe. John, you just opened your third beer, right?
I did. I'll show you in a second. Let's get through this three other pictures. Yeah, let's just do this really quick.
Oh yeah, so back
double. This is double rainbow.
That's the little pointy one right there. This is a side view of what they call the window. If you get up in the basin where the main part of the Big Bend National Park is, like the original headquarters, you're up in the basin, but you look out over the desert through a thing called the window, and that point is half of it.
Nice.
So that is a rainbow coming right down on the window.
That's awesome. Wow. We got this one here. This is pretty.
That's from our porch. That's like my front porch too. So, and that is in Terlingua. You watch the sunset to the east because it reflects off the mountains and makes that alpha glow. Yep. And then when it's done doing that, you turn around, you walk up and sit on the west side of the house. And
that's great.
Watch the rest.
And we got this one. This is cool.
Oh, nice.
Hey, that was on the way to that beer festival. We had to leave it. I
said that's morning miss, is it not?
I left from Terlingua, so I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, drive to Marathon over an hour away. We had to meet in Marathon around 6:30, get on the road to get to Midland, 3.5 hours away on time to make this happen. So
nice. And finally, we have this.
Lovely.
Another one right outside the house. The storm happening. All the good Chihuahuan desert. The desert, like people think of nothing out here, man. It's the most alive place I've ever been.
That's great. And then there's this one. That's the only other one we didn't show.
Okay, that's Amy is the head brewer on the right. Nikki is the assistant brewer. Amy actually used to work at Big Bend Brewing when I worked there, and she worked. She learned how to brew beer from the guy who was the first brewmaster, the first legal brew pub in Texas post Prohibition.
Nice.
Oh, very cool.
From the godfather of Texas beer, Amy learned, and she's actually made a couple of his recipes. She keeps his spirit alive. He passed away a couple of years ago from prostate cancer, which is one of the reasons we were running the beer liner, doing our thing. But Amy is probably one of the greatest Texans keeping Steve's spirit and beers alive, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So,
very cool.
Then, of course, the only other picture you sent me that I didn't put up yet is the beers you're drinking tonight. So
yeah, we go.
And I do believe the one on the left is the one that was in.
That was the one that matched my pants.
This picture?
There we go. that is definitely some crispy business going on. Right there.
Yeah.
Hey, the brewery liked it. They commented on it.
So. That works.
Anyway.
So my third beer, I just opened this. Dave's had it already.
Hop Sprocket. Oh, Red Rye returning. So you got some cans of that.
Some cans of Red Rye
This
returning.
is a beer that Carton Brewing had put out years and years ago. They put out a few iterations of it. They haven't made this in, I think, about 5 years.
4 or 5, yeah.
4 or 5. Mm-hmm. And they put it out again. And it's actually smoother than they've ever made it. Is your first taste of it, Sean?
I like red and I like red.
Oh, very nice.
Right. A lot smoother than it's been.
So we got
Spacely Sprockets, Hop Sprocket.
Hop Sprocket. This is the new beer from the newest real ale beer. Dude, I really like these guys. They can take they'll take even the trendiest style and they'll eventually get around to it because that's what people want these days.
Oh yeah.
But those guys brew the most classically badass versions of even the most wild new trends. Like they'll do it, but they won't do it, just to do it. They'll like find a way to do it.
They're doing it their way.
That's like, it's just a fucking great beer, man. These guys can do no wrong, in my opinion.
That's great.
So, John, I opened a fourth, just so you know, it's not just the same one. Two of those, they're both open and empty.
There you go.
Everybody digs a long pour, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Get that. Now the thing is, there's a few. I've heard a few things about doing a pour where you get that huge head, and then letting it settle, and just pouring straight down into the head itself. And what it does is it reduces a lot of the CO2 in it, which reduces a lot of gas in you.
Yep.
And I get that, and in the next morning it's appreciated because the next morning can be quite usable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but also think about this. I mean, like it fills you up faster when you get all the
gives you more room.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And historically, we've only drank beers at this level of carbonation for less than 100 years.
Yeah.
For all the thousands of years we've been drinking beer, they've been
it was flat.
The idea of a consistent and highly carbonated beer is a very modern thing.
Sure.
And most of what we know about beer has been taught to us by the trends and the push of the major beer companies.
Yep.
So,
it has to be.
I like a beer with a lot of carbonation, but like that's why a lot of people don't dig beer because it's so highly carbonated it bloats them. And so you pour it like that and decant it and let it open up. You taste more of it. You feel more of it. And I don't know.
Funny story behind that.
100%.
This beer is one of the more highly carbonated beers I've ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's really got a high carbonation level to it. And I wasn't joking around about drinking it out of a 3-liter boot. I've got a friend, and he decided he had a 3-liter boot and he had a bunch of smaller boots. So we decided to do a 3-liter boot challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, what are you doing it with? He says, well, we're doing it with boat beer. I'm like, well, that's insanity because you're going to try to chug 3 liters of a highly carbonated beer. You're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, so we did it. It took a while. It took longer than we thought it would because you've got to get all the gas out. I told him straight up, you need to belch as much as possible if you're going to try to do this. So we're doing it. His brother didn't listen to me. So at about 4 minutes in, he's in the bathroom. You can't say he's throwing up. There is foam coming out of his nose and his mouth into the toilet.
As my granny would say, there's more room on the outside than there is on the inside.
He proved that. There was foam coming out of everything. The funny thing is there was a friend of ours there, Doug Beauchamp, and when all the things were said and done and everyone had fell out to where they were supposed to be, he's like, I could have put money down exactly how that went.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Sean finishing first, Dave finishing right behind him, Sean's brother throwing up, and I can't remember the fourth guy's name, finally finishing after about 10 minutes and then passing out. Which he did.
Is it really throwing up though if it's only foam?
That's what I said. I don't know that he actually threw up.
He's just expelling gas and there was just foam with it. That's all.
Liquidy gas coming out of his orifice.
Like an entire beer full of high carbonation. And I didn't throw up, but I had a burp where some liquid came out. I didn't consider it. Like a full.
That's agita. That's all that is.
That's a puke belch related incident.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It's like a Viet style lager. It's a belch style.
Whenever you see,
it's a puke style belch.
You watch The Simpsons. You watch Barney burp, and his lips go.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a Barney burp.
It's a Barney burp. There you go.
Barney burp.
All right. All right. So we mentioned agave plants before.
We have.
We mentioned, distilling them.
I just showed you a photo of one.
And Terlingua Sunrise.
And Terlingua Sunrise, right? So that kind of foreshadows and leads us into tonight's top 3 list.
Which is starting to scare me a little bit.
Adding that Leche was my subtle segue point.
There you go. So tonight's top 3 list. And we're shying away from beer yet again. And it's going to be tonight's
because anybody who has followed Beer Samurai on Facebook, every now and then I'll put up a samurai does not live on beer alone.
Right.
Because there's wonderful things to drink out there.
Sure. Absolutely.
We've been celebrating Bourbon Heritage Month all month.
Mm-hmm. Got another 3 days. Got another 3 days.
The 3 days. I may need to go out and get another before. Did you ever get your glasses, John?
No, I ordered them. They didn't come yet. Probably
Okay.
tomorrow. Probably Thursday. I think they're coming Thursday.
Because we're gonna have. It's a shame we didn't get it in this month. So many other things, but next to bourbon, one of my favorite spirits. Oh, you're gonna drink your tequila out of that.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice.
That's classic right there. That is.
Anyway, guys. So out of bourbon, next to bourbon, one of your
Next to
favorite
bourbon?
spirits.
Tequila.
There you go. So top 3 favorite tequilas we're doing tonight. So there you go. So Tony, please kick us off.
Well, my top favorite tequilas change all the time because I don't drink as much.
Of course, they
these days
should.
because I don't drink a lot of tequila these days because I'm drinking a lot of Sotol, Sotol is like, without doing it any disservice, is the tequila of the north. Tequila is in every region of Mexico they make something that comes from the plant that grows there. So, but tequila was my first love with these Mexican spirits. So,
Blue agave. Tequila Rejon Blanco.
Rejon Blanco. This is number 1 or 3? You're going 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3?
This is number 1. It's the only bottle of tequila I have here at the house.
He loves it enough to just drink it straight out of the bottle.
But I like tequila has. I do have a bottle of 512 tequila, which is a company like a bunch of gringos out of Austin that have a brand, and the tequila is made by some probably very legit dude, but it's all barrel aged, and like if you're drinking tequila, if the silver is not good, then the gold doesn't get any better.
You need to start off with a good base, right?
Añejos, like if the fermented juice of this agave plant does not taste good, it's not going to get any better by putting it in a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a great point right there.
Good point.
That's not even a historically accurate thing to do. Like aging tequila in a barrel is totally a whiskey move. Yeah. Whenever Cuervo became a big thing, and like they put a big ad campaign behind that, like they're like, hey, we got to try something new. Let's put it in a barrel. Like that was not something that had ever really been done. We just need to market it. I mean, you know why it's called gold, right? Because they add color to it.
Yes. And so
Jose Cuervo is not my favorite tequila.
Oh God, no. But however,
is my current favorite. It's one from a producer that I've got a little bit of connection to. So,
but and as much as I really despise Jose Cuervo Gold, some of their higher end stuff is actually pretty damn good. The Familia series is pretty good, and they've got a higher end one that's actually I've had a sip of and really wish I'd had more of it. So they can actually produce amazing tequila. Judging them on gold.
No, I mean you shouldn't judge. I wouldn't say you judge them by gold, but understand what gold.
Yeah. 30 plus years ago, I had plenty of Cuervo Gold.
Put it this way:
I don't need anymore. I don't need
salt. You need salt and lime to get it down.
Right. That's why I shouldn't be drinking tequila though, because that was the most prolific one, and it got shoved down. I'm like, hey, the gold, and like they just drank too much Cuervo at once. So I'm glad top 3 tequilas is a thing because I love tequila, and it should be more.
Well, that's why we picked it, because we know you love tequila.
Really? Oh man, you guys are so sweet.
No, I knew damn well you love tequila. So I'm like, John. So John and I usually go back and forth as what the top 3 should be, and we didn't have to. I just sent to John top 3 tequilas.
Absolutely,
and that was the end of it. Wow. That was the end of it. So that's one. Give us 2 more.
2 more. Toro de Lidia.
Oh, say that again.
Hey,
so bull of the what?
De Lydia. Lydia is a person.
Lydia's bull. Okay.
You remember? I think we talked about this on a previous the photo of me in the shower with the tequila bottle.
Yeah.
We actually published a picture of him in the
shower. I think so. You know what I'm talking about?
I know. I know. I'm joking. I remember it.
Okay. That tequila right there is funny. Like I told that story about but anyway, that's a really good.
I do have a question on that picture too, but finish your story first.
Okay. Rejon, Toro de Lidia, and then my third. I didn't want to like it, but a lot of my friends are into it, and it's that George Clooney stuff, the Casamigos.
Really, Casamigos? I'm not a huge fan of Casamigos.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it. You know,
I don't hate it either.
And
Yeah.
I don't drink a lot of tequila. I drink. I'm more of a mezcal and sotol. So
Okay.
I mean,
Gotcha.
I love tequila, but I've gotten way into like deeper depths of different parts of Mexico.
Yeah, mezcal is kind of like the Scotch of tequila, right? It is.
Well, it can be
Because it's a smoky,
well, it's
earthy.
not smoky. I
not
think
all of it. That's
that is a
true.
misconception. That it depends on which family made it and what they really dug in the flavor they made. Like that's what I've learned anyway.
A lot of mezcal that we get up here is that smoky stuff because the way I look at it is it's tequila for Scotch drinkers.
Well, I learned from going to a couple of weeks in Oaxaca and like really doing some in-depth stuff, knowing what I know about sotol and tequila, and then going down there and meeting these guys that it's really about a family recipe. And you know, like they all use the same plants and they have a different way of getting to the similar point, but along the way over generations, some people dug the smoke flavor and some people distilled it out. If you're really expert distiller, you could take any off flavor out. You know, like you could take the burnt flavor, the smoky flavor, or anything.
Pull that out, yeah, you can do that.
Get it down. So at the end of the day, what I really want is like the purest form of the fermented juice of the plant they're taking it from. That's what I really dig the most. And if you can do that, and like sometimes I dig the smoke in it. Sometimes I want it to taste like if I bit this desert like an apple. That's what it would taste like, you know.
So spell sotol for us.
SOTOL.
Okay.
Sotol.
Sotol.
I think we've been through this before too. In Español, las vocales, todo es mismo. A, E, I, O, U. In every word, in todas las palabras, A, E, I, O. If you're curious about how to pronounce a Spanish word, remember, A, E, I, O, U. There is no U. There ain't no O.
You know, A,
E, I.
Very nice. So,
Very nice.
John, you said you had a question about the
Picture,
shower
yeah,
picture.
the shower picture with a bottle of tequila.
Yes.
Did you take that picture on delay or not?
No. I had it on a tripod, and like, well, I did tell this story on a previous episode.
I know. I'm just bringing it up again.
Okay, no. I had there were a lot of people at that house that night, but it's the house with the coolest shower. And it's not uncommon for people to come through there, and like not everybody has a great shower out here. Some people don't even have a shower, so it's a place where you could come and convene, and a lot of people do that. We happy hour there, wait for the coyotes to come by right at sunset. You know, it's a place where we chill. So I was gonna take a shower, but I came in and like I walked in the house with my shower gear, but also my tripod and my camera, and they're like, "The hell's going on?" Like, just trust me on this. I got something to work on here. And so I was in there for, you know, like I get the shower going, so it kind of gets steamy and all that. And, you know, it was a self shoot, yes. But you should see the ones that I didn't post.
Good. We're good to go on that.
Very good. I'm good.
I posted was spicy. Holy shit, man.
There you go.
I had to delete some of that stuff. It was too much.
Spicy.
Yes.
All right. Dave, your three.
Well, I'm gonna start off with an honorable mention because it's what I'm drinking. It's
Shocker.
what's in my bar. Tres Generaciones.
Hey, very good.
Okay.
Very good.
So Tres, to me, for the very standard, easier to find in the U.S., this is one of my favorites. I love how smooth the añejo is. And yes, I do understand that if you're going to judge tequila, judge them by the blancos, or those that want to be fancy, they call them platas, right? Because it's not white. It's
all
it's
marketing.
silver.
Now, did you say fancy or Fonzie? I'm trying to be
Fancy with the pinky up. But if, yeah, I don't know that drink. What's that fancy drink?
Hey.
Yeah. So at any rate, so I do like this for, you know, just a very common quaff almost. It's not really, it's almost a sipper, but the three on my list are all sippers. I'm gonna go with one that. You
should never put anything on your list that wasn't a sipper.
Sipper, right?
That's right.
You're not 19 years old anymore. Right?
You're not shooting it down with lime and salt.
Right.
Right?
Like that.
Cuervo Gold, Cuervo Silver, and 1800. Those are my three. Yeah.
Ooh. 1800's a great mixer.
Hey, I did have some 1800 from the 1970s.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Our bass player got it at an estate sale. Like he picked it up on the side. Like they couldn't sell it to him, but he worked a little trade deal on the side. But I got to drink an unopened bottle from 1970 something, and it's like the original 1800.
I'm sure that held up very well.
Pretty damn good, man.
But that is my mixing tequila right there.
There you go.
That's 1800 white. So I'm going to start off with, this thing is a serious tip. I'm going to start off as high end as I've ever had of a tequila.
Mm-hmm.
And it is...
This is number 3 or your number 1?
Casa Azul?
No, not Casa Azul.
You're not talking about that $100 a shot where you ring the bell kind of shit?
No, well, maybe. This is Grand Patron's Piedra. So Piedra, it goes... No, it's going to be $1,000 shot. This is about a $370 bottle. Patron,
$100.
Yeah. So I kind of make fun of Patron a little bit because Patron is for the Uggs wearing, Starbucks drinking, and to them that's high end tequila.
Sure.
And
that's where they get, they want that after dinner shot of tequila.
Yeah.
They get the Patron XO, the coffee tequila.
Yeah, and so a lot of that's Patron for the most part I don't like and I make fun of, but that Grand Patron Piedra, that is a smooth, and I hate to use their term for it, extra añejo. Okay, it's añejo, or it's extra añejo just means you put it in like a couple extra months, whatever. What are you opening there?
Oh, don't just keep going. Just
Okay.
talk.
We'll figure this out.
He's got some Satoller.
Now, I'm going to bring up one that is just kind of like a given when it comes to high-end, beautiful tequilas, but it absolutely is, and it's up there, not as much as the Piedra, but it's Don Julio's 1942. It's a solid tequila. I love this tequila. It's almost trendy to a point, right? You go to any liquor store, you're going to find it. It's going to be overpriced, no matter where you go, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I still really, yeah, especially where you are, everything's overpriced when you get up into this area.
Convenience tax for sure.
Yes, there's definitely. But one of my favorite tequilas I ever had, and to your point, this is a Blanco, and there is a label out there called Artenome, and Artenome it's a guy who is a distiller. And he calls it Artenome because, Tony, you probably know this damn well, that Nome is the distillery itself. And every distillery has a Nome. And that is the number that applies to that distillery. So anything that is distilled there at that distillery belongs to that Nome.
This Nome?
Not that Nome. There's no G in it. But so if you like if there's a tequila that you love, if you know the Nome, N-O-M, and you find another tequila distilled at that Nome, it should be similar. So that's how you look.
Right.
So what this guy does is he goes from distiller, he gypsy distills tequila.
I dig that.
So these different, so Artenome 1414, I don't know what Nome that is. I don't know what distillery that is.
Maybe you shouldn't tell everybody because then it'll get too cool. And then
it's already too cool. Well, the thing is, it's very, very hard to find. I found this at a Mexican restaurant in Denville, New Jersey called Chico's. Chico's has about 150 tequilas. He has reached in New Jersey. He has reached over 100 different mezcals now. So I'm going to have to go in and talk to Chico.
Ask Chico if he's getting any Sotol.
That's what I'm going to ask him. And it's funny because
tell the Tommy I can hook him up with some guys.
There's this. So as much as this is a tequila place, when I walked in, we just lost John. Nope, and John's back. But as much of a tequila place as this is, when they put me into the POS, they put me in as Tequila Dave. That's nice. Because I'd go in.
I know more.
It's tequila at this place. I'm Tequila Dave because I'd walk in and Chico would start pulling some stuff out that he couldn't legally sell. So he didn't sell it to me, but he'd pour it for me. He'd have it in the chiller.
Hey,
So
anybody that's worth the shit running a joint like that has got some stuff that they can't sell you.
yeah.
And if you're getting to sip some of that, then you're finding out that this person that you're getting this stuff from is like doing their homework and doing it right. Like,
Chico's doing it right. So this Ardenome, so the Blanco, so now the Blanco's is 1414. I forget what the original number was for it, but even the 1414 is fantastic. And a lot of people, there's also misconception, drain that mother. There's misconception that Blancos are clear and flavorless.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. If they're distilling it right,
they have the flavor.
They've got the
You
most
see,
flavor.
I don't agree with that because I knew a girl, Sue Blanco. She was not flavorless. So I mean,
not
you're
touching
trying
that.
to get the flavor of what
there was no girl named Sue Blanco. I just had to say that. It was funny.
aging. I mean, even if you take
For anybody out there named Sue Blanco, I wasn't
put a
putting
lager,
it.
put a lager in a barrel, it's going to change the flavor of what that means.
Right,
You know, like it's nothing wrong with a barrel, nothing wrong with aging it for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really like agave spirits, the Puro, the Blanco, the Plata is where it's at. That's where you fall in love with the actual flavor.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's the same. And you know what? It's the same thing. It kind of refers back to like beer for a second, right? Because an IPA or any of the other adjuncted styles or anything like that, it's easy to you make your mistakes in the brewing, you can cover them up with the adjuncts or with the whatever, right, or extra dry hopping or whatever. But if you want to go to a brewery and you want to see that they brew good beer, try their Pilsner first before anything else. If they have a great Pilsner, they're brewing good beer. Done. So it's the same principle.
I don't even ask them. I don't tell them anything. I just walk out.
Yep. But that's the whole point about a Blanco. If you've got a Blanco that is throwing a ton of agave flavor at you, there might be hints of other things in there, like a vanilla or something else, and it doesn't come off as oily, you know this distillery knows what the fuck they're doing.
Sure.
So seek out their other stuff. And this guy who does this Ardenome, this Gypsy Distiller, if you can find it's Artenon. Find the stuff he is doing amazing. And it's one of the few, and to your point, it's one of the few tequila distilleries where I prefer the Blanco to everything else they make. I'll tell you how talented this distiller is. Because he hasn't used a barrel to hide. Now, he does reposados, he does añejos as well, but it's the Blanco that I prefer.
Yeah, I'm not. I have nothing against the reposados or añejos or anything.
Oh, I love them.
Experimental that they do, but like if you really truly want to, I guess for those that are trying to get foray into the wild world of tequila in a way that they've never done, or mezcal or anything, start at the bottom and find the Puro. And before you get to, like this stuff right here.
Soto.
This
one has Vibora. What's with Vibora?
Vibora. This is the one that has this has rattlesnake venom in it.
Well, of course.
Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? Yeah, just so Tony
enjoy.
Chugging
some rattlesnake venom. Oh, there you go. All right. So look, I'll give you my 3, but as I said to Dave before, the two of you have I've had plenty of tequila in my day, but I'm going back, 30 something years ago and crap tequila, right? But since then I've had my share of tequila, but it's not as much of the good stuff as the two of you have had, right? Because I kind of lean towards bourbon and gin.
We're not judging you, man.
No, I'm just saying for my list. I'm just saying.
I told them when I talked to him earlier, I'm like, John, you've drank what you've drank.
Right.
These are your 3 favorites.
These are my 3.
Hey,
so.
and
with your experience.
I tell people all the time, if you tell me your favorite things, there is no wrong answer.
Right.
That's correct.
Exactly. So I will give you my 3. I'm actually going to give you a 4. Shocker, right?
Woo!
Yeah, there you go. So I'll make it an honorable mention. It was like tied for 3, but I'll make it an honorable mention because it was already mentioned already. My go-to, if I want tequila, if there's something that I want to sip on and it's at a bar that's, not known for their tequila selection, all right, it's Casamigos. It's actually good. I enjoy it. It's actually good, right? So my number 3, and I used the Blanco. as a mixer, and I can sip on it. It's
Okay.
for me at the price point, amazing that it's that good, and that's Espolon.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
hey,
Espolon's a damn good tequila. Yeah.
It's one of the best bangs for your buck.
Absolutely.
I can buy like a 750 out here for like probably $24, which is amazing.
Yes,
it's crazy. Yeah, it's in the low 20s for 750. It's crazy.
And please stop talking about it before the prices go up.
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly. Right. And on a side note, I've actually had, and I have a list of, I'm a geek like that, or whatever. I'll write down anything that's crazy good on a list, like bourbons, gins, any spirits or whatever.
John's just a big, huge gin whore.
I'm a gin whore. Yeah, I am. Yeah, but
you can have most of it. I want a little bit sometimes, but
all good. But the Añejo from Espolon, the reason it's actually good because Espolon's actually part of the Campari group, like that's the parent company, right? And there's Campari, and like there's a cocktail with Campari and Espolon, right? That would be disgusting.
Campari.
Hey, I don't know. Like, I mean,
it's like I don't know if I want an Espolon Negroni. I don't know if I want that.
But I might. Like, I would try that. I would try that tonight if I.
You know what? That's challenge accepted because you know I like inventing cocktails.
Hey, next show we do together, let's make the top 3 Espolon or top 3 tequila Negronis.
Negronis, there you go. I'll have to do that. Yeah, I actually had a really good Negroni last Monday night at Taka in Asbury Park, and I know you. Yeah,
there we go.
Anyway, but it's actually their Añejo is actually aged 2 years in wild turkey barrels.
Interesting.
Which wild turkey is part of the Campari group too, so that's why.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just marketing, but
marketing, right?
But
it actually works. It actually works. There's some. It's not that bad actually. But
so was that number 2 or just a?
That's number 3. No. That was just the variation. But the Espolon Blanco. That's my number 3. Milagro. They're Milagro. Yeah. They're specifically, and I've had this at a couple of places in locally, Chilango in the Highlands.
Okay,
they're really good. They're Select Barrel Reposado.
I was going to say Milagro is one of 2 of the distilleries where I prefer the Reposado over the rest.
Yeah, the Reposado.
Milagro and Herradura are the 2 that.
Oh, Herradura, yeah, Herradura is very
good. I prefer their.
I have a number 4 too.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Coralejo. One of the tall, skinny blue bottles and red bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've had that at Chico's.
I've actually had that. I
came to know that tequila on Rio Grande River trips. We had a guy that would come with us, and that was always the tequila he would bring. And one of the reasons you bring booze on a Rio trip is because you can pour the booze into like a plastic bottle, and even a collapsible
like a sippy cup.
Well, you get a lot more bang for your buck if you. Like I'm the beer guy on our river trip, so I have to one of my jobs is in beer logistics is to build a cooler that is like from the bottom up, like the beers on the top are the ones that are iced down, and as we get down through a 6 or 8 day trip on the river, you only have ice for like 3 days, so you got to get beers that can exist and be enjoyable at ambient temperatures.
But
like tequila is more bang for your buck, so he would always bring the Coralejo. But it comes in these ridiculous bottles that are like this long, man. And like they're real tall and skinny, and I'm like, it's just the stupidest thing to take out on the river, but it's like it's so awesome too.
Something to drink.
They get like the photos of people drinking these giant, like long bottles. It's like blowing out of a horn,
Well, that's like the Don Julio 1942.
Yeah,
that's a ridiculously long bottle.
And I have to give a special mention for anybody that puts tequila in a bottle that's shaped like a Tommy gun or a cowboy hat.
or a Jaguar. I've seen
or skull. I've seen them in skulls too.
No, that tequila is god awful.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It's not a shout out. I'm just saying
that is one of the worst tequilas I've ever had.
How the hell are you going to get a bottle like that without?
Well, you buy it for the skull bottle, right? And then you just dump the tequila out.
Yeah, oh my god,
you got to drink that shit. You didn't earn that skull.
I agree with Tony. I agree with Tony on that. If you want the skull bottle, drink the shit that's in it.
Just mix it with a ton of sour mix and make a margarita.
I never get close. I want to go. I'm gonna go run and grab the license bumper thing real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
You do that.
Talk amongst yourselves, please. It won't take me long.
And you were on number 2 there, right, Johnny?
Yeah. So my number 1, I actually had this. It was at a bar it's not there anymore, so I'm not even going to mention the name, in New York in the East Village on 6th Street. But I actually had it. I had it. The cocktail was amazing, so I got a side pour of it. It was El Tesoro Paradiso.
El Tesoro is a damn good tequila.
Yeah, it was friggin'
I don't know about the Paradiso.
The Paradiso is an extra añejo, and it's aged in according to my notes anyway, it's aged in French oak cognac barrels.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it had that level of just very, 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 very mild hints of cognac, but it actually played well with the tequila.
Yeah, one of these days I'll have to get you to Chico's and run through some of the tequilas they have there. He always has Ardennome. He always has the 3 Ardennomes. And it's getting to the point where I may follow Tony's lead and hit this is what he's doing. He's hitting the head right now because he said he was going to hit the head and then come back with the
bumper, the light
bumper thing. And I'm 4 beers in, so I think I'm going to follow him. So can you handle it by yourself here, Johnny?
Why don't you wait till he gets back?
I'm going to wait till he gets back so you can talk amongst yourself. And
I want to hear amongst myself, right?
But I want to hear this story of his.
Well, I'll talk to him about something else until you get back.
Yes, you got to wait until I get back.
And don't be too long because I smell dinner done downstairs and I'm starving.
And what is dinner tonight? It's not corned beef hash, is it?
No, it's not corned beef hash. It's pork loin.
Pork loin.
I'm having pork loin. Yeah.
How have you seasoned the pork loin?
Oh, she has her own ways.
And she does have her ways, does she?
She does, and she also seasons good too. So.
Okay, so Tony, this is the deal right now because I was gonna also hit the head, but John can't talk.
Well, I was gonna talk to my.
He can't talk amongst himself.
I was gonna talk with myself. So
but
I said,
you can't. No, you can't show this yet.
Can't show that until
I get back. I'll be right back.
All right.
There you go. So what we should do, Tony, is
so smooth,
we should have the conversation and finish it before he gets back, and then just end the show, right?
All right. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Anyway, but I'll just tell you what my number 1 was. El Tesoro Paradiso. El Tesoro is a great tequila, and the Paradiso, it's an extra añejo. Excuse me. And it's aged in French oak barrels, French oak cognac barrels.
I think,
so second use.
French oak goes a long way with that. I don't mean to dog it. It's not traditional.
No, not at all.
I love the innovation and the direction they move with it, like to always be changing it. So,
but those, well, in any event, those were mine. So, hey, we got 12 tequilas for the 3 of us top 3 list. So that was actually 13 because I mentioned the Espolòn Añejo. So.
Hey, I think this show has been less about lagers and more about tequila tonight.
More about tequila and agave and some other stuff too, and landscapes.
Do you listen to the Agave Trip podcast?
I do not actually.
Check that out.
Send me the link and I'll actually put it up. I'll actually link it on our website and the Facebook page.
It's I don't know those guys, but it's one I listen to pretty often. I dig what they do. So
fair enough. All right. I think I hear Dave coming back. Do we?
Nah, man, he had a lot of beer to get.
He did. No, he is back. Look at that. No, he had to grab tequila. That's what he was doing.
He had an extra. He had a beer that we didn't have.
This is true. He did.
He's 1 beer ahead of us.
He's 1 beer ahead of us. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, it's not done yet, but it's.
And now it's done.
And I also brought over another tequila. So, Tony, what are your thoughts on white añejos?
Well, we've talked about this before.
But now, wait,
I haven't had tequila done that way, but I've had the sotol that they bury in the ground to the days of prohibition in the U.S. And before a lot of this, tequila was the one. All Mexican spirits are equal. They've been made for as long. People in Mexico and like indigenous people have been fermenting these plants for thousands of years.
Yet the tequila distillers will make you believe
when
that they're superior.
When the Spanish showed up, No, they don't believe it.
Tequila distillers.
They were given
Distillers.
an opportunity. When the Spanish showed up, the Spanish taught the indigenous people of Mexico how to distill spirits. Like they'd been fermenting them for as long as we've been making beer, practically.
Right.
But the Spanish taught them how to distill, so like those things became a thing. And then probably about the late '60s, early '70s, somebody from some gringo from probably some whiskey company got a hold of somebody at Jose Cuervo and said, "Hey, I think we're onto something here." Before that, tequila was not a household name. Right. It was something you probably only heard of or had if you lived near the border. And now, like with a great marketing campaign, they made Cuervo a sensation. That's probably why the people that hate tequila is because the only one they've ever had is much of the one thing that they produced. And so, but all these spirits are equal. And I love the exploration that I've gotten the opportunity to do. And Sotol has been the easy one, but I've dipped into Oaxaca and spent some time down there and really learned mezcal and like Bacanora, Raicilla, like there's a Lecheguilla, there's all these. Everywhere you go in Mexico, they make a spirit that is made out of a plant that grows there. The only reason tequila is because that one species of agave is prolific right there.
Right.
And
they make Sotol in 3 different states in Mexico, but the best ones and the best conditions, you can make it in Texas. There's gringos in Texas, jerks even, I'll say. I'll be controversial. There are gringos trying to appropriate Sotol, even with the denomination of origin. They have begun to make Sotol in Texas because the plants grow here, and they're calling it Sotol. It's just like we were talking earlier. You couldn't make a New England IPA without calling it a New England style IPA. If we can do that in the U.S., there's a thing actually happening. There's a huge discussion on this going on right now about appropriation and a lot of things where people are making, because those plants actually still grow in what is now Texas, that they call a thing Sotol, but Sotol is known just like tequila. Imagine if there was a company in New Jersey that started making tequila because they started importing plants. People would be up in arms. But
just remember, we're the country that will take our sparkling wine and call it champagne, even though it's not champagne.
For sure.
Right? Because America, that's what we do.
Right?
But see, I don't understand why we can call it champagne and not champagne style sparkling wine.
Because beer has to follow. Because we've discussed it. We're not going to get this conversation.
Lobbyists trying to protect jobs.
Right.
I mean, don't say, hey, there are articles in some of those high dollar and highfalutin publications in Texas about this discussion right now. It's an important one in the Mexican spirits. I think it's a cool thing to watch right now.
Well, you've sparked 2 thoughts in me here. One, it's interesting to see how mezcal is starting to gain a foothold more up in this region. Where I'm seeing a lot more mezcal. So tequila is not as much of the king as it used to be. So hearing this, exactly, but that's the whole thing about hearing that tequila became the king by marketing. Mezcal is starting to gain some traction by also marketing.
So, an important point of reference, Sotol is kind of further behind that because it's a lesser known one, but it is at a critical point of they're just now starting to send this stuff across the border a lot more, and you can buy Sotol all around the world at this point, to the point that the Japanese have even refused shiploads of it because somebody tried to cheat the system and make some stuff that they call Sotol that wasn't made 100% from the one plant. The Japanese are very particular about the details, and they somebody.
You gotta love them for that.
Is trying to cheat the system, but you also have guys in Texas that are trying to make something out of the same plant and call it something before it becomes a marketable name, before it's well known. And they did this on purpose. I don't mean to get too deep into a wormhole here, but they're gringos right now trying to steal something from the analogy I'll always make is like, imagine if somebody tried to like start making tequila somewhere that wasn't in
Mexico.
Jalisco is
Jalisco.
You don't make tequila in Mexico. You make it in Jalisco.
But you got to remember, like I said, this is the U.S.
Right.
You make champagne outside of Champagne.
The U.S. is the king of capitalism, and it's all about whatever you can get away with
and disrespect of other cultures. That's one thing we're very good at.
I think it is a blatant disrespect, but it's more of an ignorance because we haven't taken the time to acknowledge the cultures that made the United States a great thing in the first place. Was all the cultures that came into it. If you go out to right where I live, do you know that this is the Rio Grande? This area right here is some of the oldest continuously farmed land in the United States. What is now the United States? It's older than anything that the Pilgrims did. People have been farming here along this section of the Big Bend and everywhere, like for forever, man. I mean, like
back to the Sinagwan era.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing that sparked to me is next time I go to Chico's, I'm going to look at Chico and go, okay, so you've got over 150 tequilas, you got over 100 mezcals. Where's your Sotol?
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
I guarantee you he has one, and it's probably, if he does have one, it's going to be the one made in Texas and not the one made in Chihuahua.
And if he does, I'm going to say,
those guys have
the bottle.
They have a great marketing campaign. They have a lot of money behind it. The guy that owns the guys that started that company actually have he wrote his MBA thesis on how to start a Sotol company in Texas, and it fucking worked. And
I'd be surprised if he has a Sotol. That would be his only
generational knowledge of like how these plants grow and which ones are the best ones to get, and like they can get them in Texas. Yeah, they grow here, but they don't grow great. They don't grow with the yield that they do somewhere else.
If he has a Sotol, I'd be surprised if it's that one, because Chico, when you look at his tequila list, if you look at his mezcal list, it's not based on marketing.
Well, right, but this is the only one that's been like easily available everywhere. Like, I don't know. It's a longer discussion, and this is the longer.
Yeah, and
you'll have to check it out. I was just going to say one thing though. You mentioned before Japanese, right? Japan wanting their
Scotch
and everything. It's Scotch. Now here's the thing. Obviously, the best Scotches in the world are from Scotland, right?
Correct.
The second best Scotches in the world are from Japan.
Absolutely.
Do you know that a friend of mine in in Blanco, Texas. And if you're from Blanco, which is the way you'd pronounce it in Spanish, if you're from Blanco, you'd say Blanco. They're called. They make out of rainwater. They make the smokiest single barrel stuff, and it is made. The Hill Country of Texas. They won the double gold medal at the World Spirits Competition.
Wow!
Scotch.
Andalusia Spirits Company. It's not Scotch because it's not made in Scotland.
Right.
But it's a single malt.
Right.
Super smoked. PD, man, it is
whiskey, right? Yeah, because like even the Japanese stuff's not Scotch, right? It's Japanese whiskey.
They won't call it Scotch.
It's Scotch, but it's Japanese.
Something I love about the Japanese is they have the respect.
Right.
Check out that Andalusia Super Smoked. It is some of the best shit.
Andalusia Super Smoked. There you go.
Nice.
Have to do that.
All right, you ready for license bumper day?
Do the license bumper. We'll wrap it.
There you go.
All right, hang on.
Bring it in. TERLINGUA ADVNTURE
Beer
Company.
That
is a long license plate. How many states do you have listed on there?
Does that fit on the back of a Jeep?
Listen, like it takes up the entire bumper of a giant GMC pickup truck. That's why it became official license bumper.
You've got that. The D. You've got the D. The D is from New Jersey.
New Jersey. There you go.
Yeah.
Is the I or the one, if you will, the I an old New Jersey
that looks
license
like
plate?
an old New Jersey license plate. You may have two New Jersey license plates on it.
There's an artist in San Antonio.
Wait, so no. The C is from New Jersey as well.
And this thing that
look at that. The C. It's Garden
State. You're right. It does. Yeah, the one is not. The one is not.
The one is not. That's from someplace else. That might be Nevada. But there's two from New Jersey on there.
The artist told us that this was the longest, like the biggest one she'd ever made. So
That's
all
very,
these
very
words,
cool.
so many words. There's so many letters of them.
So now, but here's the thing, though. Every single one of the E's is a 3.
Yes.
There's no E on there. There's every single one of the E's is a 3.
That is a, I think, if I had to guess, that's a VIN thing, the vehicle identification number.
Yeah.
There are no zeros or ones, or they're all like, it's either a 0 or 1 or it's an O and an I.
Fair enough.
Okay.
They have to differentiate those things because they use both. So,
Right.
but anyway, I did hang this on the back of a very legal truck that I drove around out here. The shitty pickup truck. The shitty pickup truck that is mentioned in a couple of songs I've written out here. But even though the truck was totally legal, hanging this license plate over the license plate of the actual truck, and it took up the entire bumper, it was still something I could get away with out here because you're so far out from everything. When the cops pull you over, they're like,
"What are you
"Come
doing?"
on, man, you know you can't do this." I'm like, because I did.
That's great.
That's amazing.
There you go. All
So
right.
we've officially passed 2 hours, which
We've
is
officially passed 2
appropriate
hours.
for our 2-year anniversary.
Hey,
That's what we wanted to hit.
guys. Man,
I can
Sure.
go another 2 hours, but
Yeah.
Johnny can't because he needs to eat.
I am starving,
he's the only guy that hasn't pissed yet.
and I haven't, and I have to. So I'm.
So the outro is going to be extremely fast. Now, Tony, I've got an upcoming challenge. So I've got a couple of 1 liter glass steins.
Yeah. We're not going to do it today, but
I'm not doing it today,
Hold 'em up.
but they're over there. Oh no, I've got one right here. Sorry, there's one right here.
Okay.
Okay, this is from this is from Oktoberfest, which Bolero Snort just ran this past weekend.
which unfortunately I could not attend.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But
We were at another beer fest.
But the challenge will be that one day John will run through the outro and I will chug a 1 liter and see who finishes first. It'll be a race.
All right. Well, I've got a 1 liter stein, and I will join you.
There you go.
There we go. So
All right,
the
so
next
what we'll do
Tony
is
show.
when we're gonna do, not even the next Tony show, but when we decide to do it,
Just call me on, and I'll come.
we'll bring Tony on at the end of the show, and that's what we'll do. And if whatever the guest is that night we have on,
If they want to join,
they want to
can
join in, they can. If they want to sit and just observe, they can do that.
if they want to tap out, they can tap
Right.
out.
Whatever they want to do. So
Hey,
Anyway,
one
all right.
more thing.
Yep.
If you are watching this and you're in Texas this coming weekend, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm stuck out here with gigs. But the Texas Craft Brewers Festival, one of the most legit beer festivals you will ever go to in this state, is happening this Saturday in Austin. And every brewery that's worth a shit, and a handful that probably won't be there, but like
That's every craft
pretty much
every brewery worth the shit, and a handful of ones that aren't.
the Texas Craft Brewers Guild Festival that's been going on for as long.
It's up to you to decide which is which.
No, any beer thing that's been going on in Texas, it's the best beer fest you can go to in Texas.
Right.
It's happening this Saturday. I'm sad I won't be there. I'm going to miss a lot of good friends and a lot of good beer. But if you're watching this, you're in Texas, and you don't go to that, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm not going is because I'm 550 miles away and gas is $4.
You just reminded me of a radio spot, commercial, whatever, that we've had out here. I forget what channel runs it, but it's about one of the gentlemen clubs. Yeah, like anybody that goes there are actually gentlemen. John's probably heard this, knows where I'm going with. Like, we've got 120 women, and in the background you hear, and only 3 ugly ones.
Hey, well, you can't.
It's awful, but it's
you
kind
can't
of fun.
represent all of humanity if you don't acknowledge the pretty and the ugly. Like, we're all in this together, man.
Yes,
Shit,
we
man.
is.
Exactly.
And some of us are ugly, some of us isn't.
But we're all, but Tony has it right. We're all in it together. So there we go.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Nice.
And
I'm trying to
that's
get
why we shot a satellite at
At an asteroid.
asteroid to make sure that we
Hey,
don't.
that's why some billionaires shooting like hundreds of satellites at a time and like freaking the fuck out of everybody that lives on
Right.
it.
Right.
Oh, one of those just shot up the other day, and everyone thought it was a comet or something.
Well, I thought I saw the space station the other night, but it was definitely like when I looked at the apps, it was definitely just a stupid internet satellite.
Right.
But I can see
So-
the space station a lot out here. So
Yeah, you see it there. Yeah, definitely. So, all right, Tony, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Let's wrap the show up, and we'll talk
All
about
right.
it afterwards. We'll wrap the show up for today. On that note, we want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Tony, thank you so much for coming on the show with us tonight. We really, really appreciate it. Second anniversary show we had to have.
Had to have you on.
Had to have you on.
And for the record, I kind of like timed off the outro.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, we've got 40 seconds to finish a liter.
well, I don't have my glass. Shit.
No, not tonight. Not tonight. When we do it, we got 40
When you
seconds
do it,
to finish off a liter.
there you go. All right.
His outro takes about 40 seconds.
There you go. And that night, I'm going to go quicker. So.
Oh, here we go.
Take
Here
a
we go.
bigger
Here we go.
breath.
Here we
There
go.
you go.
The thing is, what most people miss while Johnny was doing the outro, Tony was killing off a bottle of Satol.
That was the tequila that he had.
That's the tequila. Ah, yes.
Sorry, hold on.
Well, there
Anyway.
was not very much in it, or I wouldn't have done that.
They would have done that. Anyway, have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you soon, folks. Take
And
care.
happy National Beer Drinkers Night.
Happy
Day
National
tomorrow.
Beer Drinkers Day
Beer tomorrow.
and happy International Lager Room Guys Day.
More important.
Cheers.